Hello, it's Harrison from CureEczemaSlowly.com. Today we're talking about genetics. Do genetics determine your fate with eczema? If you were born with eczema, are you likely to suffer from it forever? Alternatively, if you develop eczema at some point in your life, through childhood, teenage years, adult years, or even later years, do you have to suffer from the condition forever as well? Is there no way to reverse the condition? Let me address that today in the topic of genetics. When talking about genetics, there are two parts: things that we can't quite control, and some things that we can actually influence and control. First, let's talk about things we cannot quite control. For example, if one parent has eczema, their offspring has a 20% chance to develop eczema as well. If two parents have eczema, the offspring has a 50% chance to develop eczema. So this is considered an example of something we can't quite control. There are also other factors that we cannot control. For example, research has demonstrated that, let's say, during pregnancy, the mother experienced a duration of stress, prolonged stress. This stress could somehow influence the offspring later when he or she is born. That increases the chance of eczema. And other examples include during pregnancy, if the mother ate an overall unhealthy diet, that could also contribute to the likelihood of the child to develop eczema. Another example of how a child may have a higher chance to develop eczema is if he or she had drank infant formula in the early months of infancy, compared to breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is actually better because it contains antibodies, which are proteins that train the child's immune system inside the breastfeeding solution. Because the child missed out on that, it would have a higher risk of developing eczema now or later in life. So these are kind of the factors that are out of our control. There are also things that are in our control. What that really means is I want to introduce you to a concept called epigenetics. Epigenetics translates to the modification of our genetic expressions. What that really means is, sure, we are born with some conditions that we cannot change, for example, all of the factors that I mentioned earlier, but we can actually we can actually influence how these genes behave. What that means is, sure, we have a higher chance and we are more prone to develop eczema, but we can eat very healthy during daily life. We can control many different factors, so much so that we can actually get rid of eczema. So the question of the second part is, these in control factors, what are they and what we can do to change them? So these factors are their dietary, eating healthier, stress management, sleep management, the environmental factors, not the green nature environment, but more like the air pollution, metal contaminants from the water we drink. Are we very stressed in daily life? And so all of these different factors, when put together, are the things that we can actively control. So it goes back to our main golden question: do genetics determine our fate with eczema? The answer is very simple. No matter at which point you develop eczema, there are things we cannot control, there are things we can control, and we just need to focus on controlling those things that are available to us. Our diet, not so much for environmental pollution, we can't really control those, but we need to identify what's available for us to change. And once we do that, we can get rid of eczema.